All right, guys. It's my pleasure to introduce you to TraumaGuard, the glucose meter for athletic trauma. In the United States alone, there are over 206 million physically active or athletic individuals. And when injured, it's estimated that up to 43.5% of them will return back to their athletic activity too early. Now, this creates a significant burden on an already overwhelmed medical system, up to the tune of about $11 billion. But what we find more important is that we end up missing 54 million hours of participated in the activities that we love to do. And in our specific niche of MMA, 1 in 4 athletes will go on to experience a re-injury. Now, this is obviously a problem, but we at TraumaGuard feel like we're uniquely qualified to answer it. I mean, we've got a team of 3 siblings over here. We've got Karl, who builds this sensor. We've got Evie, who understands the biology to make it work. We've got Zane, who constructs the product, and then me, Patrick, not a sibling, but I have the clinical expertise to help sell it. So what is TraumaGuard? Well, it's a glucose meter for athletic trauma. You take a non-invasive swab of saliva, you put it directly into a test strip in a reader, and in minutes, you get a trauma score directly to your phone.
Thanks, Patrick. So what is a trauma score? The foundation of trauma score is, as mentioned, a biomarker called S100B. And this is a protein that is elevated in your blood and saliva when tissue is undergoing repair. And for many years, it was researched by larger pharmaceutical companies as a potential diagnostic tool for concussive injury. However, more recently, it's been discovered that the story for S100B is a lot more complicated, and it's released by a multitude of tissues: fat, skeletal, cartilage, skin, and even exertion or exercise can elevate it. So you have to think of S100B not as a diagnostic, but more of a whole body signal of trauma and recovery repair. And so for a diagnostic purpose, this is not useful. This is a bug because of the potential false positives. But for a wellness device that measures average total body recovery or trauma, this is a feature. And to our knowledge, we are the only biomarker company that will be positioned as a wellness device at a price point that a direct-to-consumer athlete can afford. And not only are we excited to build this, but our customers are equally as excited to receive this. We have 4 signed letters of intent. These gyms span multiple locations in multiple states. And when we posed this product to them, they actually asked to be part of our pilot before we could get to our own ask. And in the $32 billion spent on sports medicine in the US, we're going to target somewhere between 250 to 500 million, similar to Whoop and Aura's annual earnings. And in our first year, we're going to leverage our letters of intent, as well as Patrick's extensive athletic training network to scale. And now the ask. If we are awarded the $50,000 prize, about a third will be spent on capital equipment to build out our lab, about a third is spent on consumables, and about a third will be reserved for technicians to scale during manufacture. And if we enter the market at only 0.5% of the sectors listed here and scale by 2x for 5 years, we can expect to make $36 million in 2031. And bam. Yes.
How do you prove that you're accurate?
What's that?
How do you prove that you're accurate?
So we're building on years of literature that shows modeling in animals and in humans how, for example, like TBI is extensively studied. You can see how you can measure a patient's baseline, you can induce an injury, and then you can see a spike over days. It's actually this plot we had at the beginning here. So this isn't a hypothetical plot, this is in literature. And this is what we expect to see for our tissues.
Yeah, but that's for in-lab, right? So you're measuring on-device, in a sensor, so your sensitivity and accuracy is going to be very different than that.
It is versus, that's my abnormal heart rate going over. The point is that there is a lower area under the curve of detection when you go from animal to human, but the case studies that I'm referencing are in real athletes that have, like, posterior after an injury, had their measurements taken, and you watch their baseline return after a few days. So that's how we're pitching this as a tool for you to know when you can return to play. Even if you might feel okay, this gives athletes or their trainers one more conservative test to be overly cautious.
What needs to happen to get this in the hands of people and start collecting data?
Frankly, it's your money. The problem is that we can't We can't code up a prototype to show customers. We need some equipment to buy the sensors and get these in the hands for our pilots. We already have customers interested. This is building on literature that shows it can be done repeatably and very cheaply. And we have a team of people that are all capable of doing this. And we have arrived at this after iterating on multiple different product designs of how we could deliver a quantitative estimate of like an injury and recovery state. So
If you had the money, how long would it take for like
for the sensors?
CMU to start using it? Yeah.
Yeah, so it would take us about 3 to 6 months to get the sensor made and reproducible. We expect about 6 months of pilot, and the award amount would carry us well through those phases. Where we have to make a decision is, are we going to bootstrap and go to a market very slowly, or are we going to seek additional funding to try to scale and hit our goals here? Because in our business plan, we were borderline pessimistic about the money we'd make, because at the time we wanted to pitch, if you give us the 50,000, we will put our own 20 additional thousand to get us to be able to scale, and then we don't need any additional funding, but we would grow slower. Now, in this presentation, we're assuming that maybe after our pilot, we would seek additional funding, maybe partner with manufacturers and be able to target more consumers to hit these scaling goals that we have.
Fantastic.